Okay, hello. Welcome to the Career Center's Ace Your Interviews workshop. My name is Electra.
And I'm Sareli, CPEP with Electra. So to begin with, we're going to do a brief overview of what this presentation entails, which is know where to go for Career Center resources, understanding interviews, how to prepare for interviews, and learn best practices for during and after your interview.
Okay, some Career Center resources would be the career consulting. You can meet from 15 to 30 minutes, depending on whether or not you make an appointment or do drop-ins with our CPEPs, GPEPs, or career directors. We have virtual and in-person career fairs where you can meet employers. We have professional development opportunities where you can attend education events, workshops, and programs around job internship search and interviewing to graduate or professional school preparation. There's also employer information sessions. Employers host virtual forums to keep students informed of job and internship opportunities and their recruitment processes. We have on-campus interviewing, where employers schedule on-campus interviews attached to job postings on Handshake, so you can sign up for those. And there's online resources on our website.
Some 24/7 digital resources are Handshake, which is a platform where you can access the Career Center's workshops, panels, job boards, recruiting events, appointments, and virtual resources. So maybe in your downtime, these are some information that you can familiarize yourself with. Within Handshake, we also have Parker Dewey, which is a micro internship platform that offers paid micro internship for all students of differing majors, class years, and degree levels. You can also access what can I do with this major. So if you want to know more about what you can do with your major after graduating and what fields that you can go into, you can utilize what can I do with this major to connect yourself with careers. Next up, there's Firsthand, where you can gain access to over 120 industry-specific career guides from accounting and law to biotech and real estate. And a big one to prepare for interviews is Big Interview, where you can prepare for your next interview by creating and conducting custom interviews with hundreds of position-specific questions. Big Interview is just you and your computer preparing for the interview at hand.
All right, the basics. What is an interview and what are the kinds of interviews? What is an interview? Merriam-Webster defines an interview as a formal consultation, usually to evaluate qualifications as a prospective student or employee. An interview is a formal conversation, and the purpose is to evaluate one's skills and qualifications.
So now going into the five different kinds of interview. There's structured interview, wherein an interviewer asks a fixed set of predetermined questions to all candidates. There's unstructured interviews, where interviews do not follow any set format and the interview can go in any direction. Situational interviews are where an interviewer gives a candidate a problem and evaluates their solving approach. Behavioral interviews, wherein an interview asks open-ended questions about specific situations and they ask you what you would do in those situations. An example is tell me about a time when you. And then there's also technical interviews, wherein an interviewer tests technical skills. Healthcare information technology, engineering, science candidates are more likely to face technical interviews than any other profession. But these interviews can differ based on the kind of position and field that you're going into.
Okay, there's different kinds of interview formats. You might have an interview in person or virtually. They can range from individual interview, where you meet with an employer or hiring manager one-on-one. There is the group interview, where you might find yourself alongside other interviewees. There's the phone screening, where you speak over the phone with a hiring manager or employer. And then there's the panel interview, where you might meet with an entire panel of hiring managers.
Next up is preparing for an interview. So, to prepare for an interview, you really want to make sure that you get to know the three layers of research. So, you want to research the industry, the company, and the role that you'll be applying for within the company. If of itself, it can differ. So you just really want to make sure you know these three layers, and we're going to get into how to do that.
Okay, one thing you want to do is you want to know the industry. Understanding the current trends in the industry, like digital transformations, new technologies. Know the challenges the industry is currently facing and the opportunities that are emerging, regulatory or policy changes affecting the industry, competitive landscape, identify the main competitors in the industry buzzwords and terminologies, industry news, and recent events. This can help you with a variety of things within the interview, like showing a genuine interest. You can tailor your answers with the information you obtained doing this kind of research. And you can also ask smarter questions because you have more information to work with, and you can think more strategically.
Next up, how to go about doing this. So one thing you can do is a strategic Google search wherein you can review news articles, analyst summaries, recent opinion pieces, company press releases from major players. So a quick tip can be use Google News for the most recent information about the industry that you're going into, or maybe even the company. You can also utilize LinkedIn to follow companies in the industry, follow industry leaders, analysts, and influencers, read post announcements and hiring trends, look at job descriptions in the industry. They review emerging skills and topics that are necessary or very used within the industry. You can also utilize LinkedIn to talk to people such as alumni, professors, and professionals within those fields. Next up, you can also read trade or professional magazines, such as each industry has a trade group or magazine. So for tech, there's Wired or TechCrunch. Marketing has Ad Age. Finance has Financial Times, WSJ. Engineering has a IEEE Spectrum. And then healthcare has Modern Healthcare. You can also read industry reports through the Deloitte, the PwC, the EY, the McKinsey. They all publish free industry insights. You can also use Statista for some free sections. Next up, you can also use YouTube video explain videos to get more of an insight of what it's like working in the industry or company. So you can use TED Talks, explainer channels, industry conference recordings, and next up, you can also do talking to people, which I mentioned before, through utilizing LinkedIn or looking for their contact information.
Okay. Another thing I want to know is the company. So, what the company does, its products and services, customers, where it operates, when it was founded, the company's mission statement, vision, and core values. You'll want to know the company's culture, the team leadership, CEO, founders, executives to know who you're going to be working with, do a little bit of research on the people who are on the team, company's market position and unique value propositions, like what sets this company apart from its competition, company news and recent events. Stay up to date. This can help you address within the interview, what do you know about us? Or questions like, why do you want to work here? You can create more of an evaluative answer. And do you have any questions for us? Like I had said before, it gives you kind of more content to work with to ask more interesting questions. And why should we hire you?
A few places to look for this information are company websites. You can find a lot of information on the company websites, such as job posting or just their mission and vision statements. The latest news, so looking at news sites about the industry or the company, talking to current employees by reaching out to them through different platforms like LinkedIn. You can also utilize Indeed and Glassdoor, which are job posting websites, to see the different positions available within the company or just positions that are the same but at different companies. And you can utilize LinkedIn to look at job postings and reach out to other individuals as well, in addition to maybe also looking at their latest news activity.
All right. And another one you want to know, the role. So you'll want to know the job responsibilities, including day-to-day tasks, what they're going to ask you to do. You'll want to know the required and preferred skills, the tools, technology, and platforms used, potential challenges of the role like skills gaps, self-analysis or pain points, career path and growth potential, and salary range and benefits. Knowing this information can help with showing a genuine interest in the role and tailoring your answers. It makes you appear more professional and informed about the role. It helps evaluate if the role is a good fit. Uh, Before applying to any job, you'll just want to know specifically what you're applying to. It kind of helps, a lot more to be more genuine about what you're applying to. Where to find this information would be through the job description, LinkedIn profiles, Glassdoor, and Indeed, just like how what was previously mentioned. Informational interviews, and Reddit and other communities where the information is posted.
So before you go into an interview, you want to review the submitted application. So this is just getting reacquainted with yourself and your past experiences. So you want to review the resume you submitted. So you're always tailoring your resume and you want to make sure that you know what information you put on this specific resume for this application. You want to review the other application materials that you may have submitted. So review listed projects, make sure you revisit and you know what you did, what your role was, the purpose, and maybe the outcomes of what happened when you were doing said project. You can also, if you listed any research papers, look up recent updates in that fields to make sure that so that you seem that you're up to date into the research that you went into. And then practice listed technical skills. So like if you put any coding skills, you want to make sure that you are still comfortable tackling any problems that they might give you, just in case it's this interview where they give you a more technical interview. Otherwise, these are just things to practice so that you're an expert in yourself and your skills, and you're ready for the interview.
This step-by-step of interviewing. Congratulations, you got the interview invite. You'll want to respond promptly, preferably within 24 hours. Answering faster is better. Greet the sender by name and express gratitude for the opportunity. Thank you for the invite. Confirm the proposed date, time, and location, or video platform to avoid miscommunication. If that time doesn't work, politely propose 2 to 3 alternative times. That way you give them a variety of ways to, or I mean, times to meet with you. Ask clarifying questions if needed, like format, in person versus virtual, who you'll interview with, or what to prepare. Proofread before sending for any mistakes. Reply all people who are CC'd and including the sender. And don't forget to celebrate the little wins.
Okay, now here is a draft of what that may look like. So your subject should include interview confirmation. You should have your name and the position that you're applying for. You'd want to greet the person that reached out to you. So always make sure to utilize their names, such as in this case, dear Mr. Smith. You want to reiterate how much you're grateful for this opportunity, for the position and the company that you're applying for at. If you are good for that interview time they offered you, you can confirm the interview at Tuesday. And you always want to make sure to reiterate the interview time that they provided you so that there's no miscommunication. So Tuesday, the June the 2nd at 10 a.m. Um, and then you'd also want to make sure to ask if you need any extra resume copies, your portfolio, and you can ask who you may be interviewing with. Um, if it turns out to be that you can't attend that interview time that you were provided, you always make sure to provide the 2 to 3 other times that you're available. And you would want to close it out by saying, "Thank you again for this opportunity. I look forward to speaking or meeting with you." And always say sincerely or best regards, a closing off with your name and your contact information.
All right, next steps, the in-person interview. You'll want to plan your route, look up the exact address and building entrance, check commute time like traffic or transit delays. Aim to arrive 10 to 15 minutes early. Early is always better. Early is on time. Identify parking options if driving. You'll want to organize required documents. Bring printed copies of your resume, like 3 to 5. Any required documents like portfolio, references, transcript, work samples. Notebook and pen, avoid using your phone for notes. It looks more professional to not be on your phone during the interview. Prepare your outfit beforehand. Choose professional, clean, well-fitted attire. Lay out clothes the night before. Check for wrinkles, stains, or missing buttons. Wear comfortable but professional shoes. Overall, just be prepared for any possible I guess, things that could happen to stunt the interview process.
And next up, for a virtual interview, you want to make sure to check your technology. So you can do this by testing your internet connection, maybe restarting your computer 30 minutes before the call. Ensure your camera and microphone work properly. You don't want to have any of those technical issues when you're having your interview. And then charge your laptop or keep it plugged in to make ensure that it doesn't spontaneously power off. You'd also want to prepare your interview space. So quiet, private environment with a clean background. If it so happens that you're not able to do this, then maybe adding a virtual background if necessary. Um, Remove distractions such as pets, roommates, background noise, good lighting, preferably natural light in front of you. Um, some digital etiquette to prepare for is keep your phone nearby but on silent in case of technical issues. Close all notifications such as Slack, WhatsApp, email pop-ups. You want to make sure there's nothing too distracting. And then have the interviewer's number and email handy to contact them if the call drops or if you have any technical issues.
Okay, getting ready for the interview. Review your material, review your resume, the job description, your research about the company, industry, and role, and questions to ask. You'll want that information kind of in the forefront of your mind. That way it limits out distractions. Practice your introductions. The most common first questions are either tell me about yourself or run me through your resume. Both of these questions have a similar answer, so practice your introduction, keeping it succinct and professional. You can run them through your professional journey and tailor it based on your research. That way you seem more applicable to them and you're not just presenting it straight at them. Run through a few examples using the STAR method. Practice answers to a few commonly asked questions using the S, situation, T, task, A, action, R, result method. This is so that you can create clear and concise answers without over-expanding or under-expanding. And get good rest, sleep well, eat light before the interview, and take deep breaths to calm your nerves. This kind of gets you in a good condition for the interview physically. That way you're more likely to do well.
During your interview, on average, how long does it take to make an initial impression when you first meet someone? Well, it's 7 seconds.
Dress and show up professionally. You want to be dressed how you want to be perceived. Wear appropriate professional attire, be professional, be comfortable, and be you. Groom yourself well, tidy appearance, minimal distracting accessories. If it is in person, grab a mint and use a light scent. You don't want to be too overwhelming with smells. Composure, sit straight, don't slouch. It shows professionalism and genuine interest and preparation. A little heavy on this one where you want to be comfortable with being you. Keeping a fake identity up is a lot harder than being genuine and presenting yourself as you are. So be comfortable with who you are and know how to be you and talk about yourself.
Okay. And you'd also want to mind your body language. So make eye contact in virtual interviews. You'd always want to make sure to look at the camera, smile, and use open body language. Avoid crossed arms, fidgeting, pacing. Any signs that you're nervous, you can be nervous, but you can always want to make sure to keep a composure to show you're engaged and confident in yourself. If the interview is in person, greet politely and offer a firm handshake, show respect and confidence. In virtual interviews, make sure your posture, lighting, background, and camera angle look professional. So you always want to make sure to make the best impression.
Effective communication within the interview. Be prepared, but answer naturally. While it's good to prepare, don't memorize a rigid script. Answer authentically and adaptably so that you can come across as genuine rather than robotic. Use the STAR method. This is important. You want to know how to talk about yourself instead of writing down something and reading off of it. Sometimes you can forget what you were going to say, and it makes it so much more nerve-wracking. So a lot of people practice with bullet points and practicing know how to talk about those points of topics. Ask thoughtful questions, treat it as a two-way conversation. Feel free to ask follow-up questions to gain clarification if required. This also shows genuine interest. Be calm, listen carefully, and take a moment when needed.
After your interview, you want to make sure you're sending a thank you email. So send a thank you email within 24 hours. Keep it short, polite, and specific, reaffirming your interest in the role and appreciation for their time. An example of this can be thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I enjoyed learning more about it can be the company or the position. Our conversation about and then try and recall what your interview entailed made me especially excited about the possibility of contributing to your team.
Okay, next steps. You've gone through the interview. Respond promptly to any next step requests. If they ask for documents, samples, or references, send them quickly. Follow up professionally if you don't hear back. If your recruiter gives you a timeline, wait until the date passes. That way you give them time. After that, send a short, polite follow-up email asking about next steps. This shows interest. And then stay organized. Record the interview date, who you spoke with, and important details. This helps in avoiding mixing up companies and staying on top of opportunities. Continue preparing. Don't pause your search. Even if the interview went great, keep applying elsewhere. This reduces pressure and improves chances of options.
So a resource previously mentioned is Big Interview, wherein it's just you and your computer preparing for your interview. You can utilize this when there is no one around you to practice interview, or maybe you just want to focus on the questions that you might be preparing for. You can also utilize your career center for mock interviews. You can bring in a set interview questions that you've been preparing for, and we can make it so that it's as if you're practicing for the actual thing, almost like with a handshake, with a greeting, making sure you review your responses and getting any of those last nerve jitters out of the way.
All right. Thank you guys so much. If you have any further questions, you can either come into the Career Center or call front desk. You can come in during drop-in days to meet with a career educator. That is usually from Tuesday to Thursday, 10 to 3. Or you can schedule with a GPEP, CPEP, or with a career director through Handshake to make an actual appointment.